Okay, good morning everybody. Questions are on the screen for you to have a look at there. Pause the video now and have a go at them yourself if you want to, or you can have a go along with me. Okay, so the first one. In figures, record 4,306. That should be right in. 4,306. 4,300, sorry, no tens, and 6 units. Okay. Number 2, 872 times 100. 872 times 100. Because you're multiplying by 100, you're moving two place value columns to the left. So you're going to take the 8. Let's do it this way. Units, tens, hundreds, thousands, 10,000. I might need 100,000, I'm not sure. So you're going to take the 800, move it two place value columns. So it's going to end up there. 8, 7, 2, 0, 0. There, 87,200. Okay. Next one, 28.04 divided by 10. Everything moves one place value column to the right. So we'll take the 8 in the units. That's going to end up in the tenths. So decimal point 804 to 2.804. Okay, and if you notice the same digits, I've got a 2, an 8, a 0, and a 4. I've got a 2, an 8, a 0, and a 4. But it's just where the digits sit in terms of that decimal point that has altered. 4 1/3. Add 4 1/3. Okay. Because the denominator's the same on both parts of the or both sides of the question or the calculation, I don't need to do any alteration of denominators. I can add those together already. So let's do the whole numbers. You've got 4, add 4, which is obviously 8. And then you've got 1/3, add 1/3 equals 2/3. Put them together means the answer is 8 2/3. Okay, really easy one there. 1/5 recorded as a percentage and a decimal. Okay. Now remember that a percentage is out of 100 and a decimal is 1, with 1 being the whole. Okay. So to find the percentage, you're going to take 100. You're going to divide it by 5. 100 divided by 5, split into 5 equal groups, is 20. Okay. Now I had 1/5, so I take the 20 and I multiply it by 1. I multiply it by the numerator, which stays at 20. So the percentage is 20%. Okay. And let's just prove that. 20, 40, 60, 80, and then 100 at the bottom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if you had 5/5, you'd have 100%. You've got 1/5, you've got 20%. Okay. Let me just clear some of that off. Same principle for the decimal. So you're going to take 1 and divide it by 5, which is obviously a lot harder. However, I've already done the hard work. 100 divided by 5 is 20. So 1 divided by 5 is going to have a 2 in there somewhere. It's 0.2. Okay, and again, that's given me, I've divided by the bottom, so I'm going to times by the top, multiply by the numerator, times 1 is still 0.2. And again, we'll prove it, 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5/5 would be 1. 4/5 would be 0.8, so on and so on. 1/5 is 0.2. Okay, so the answers are, well, there. Apologies. 5th recorded as percentage is 20%. A 5th recorded as a decimal is 0.2. Next one. 214 subtract a box is the same as 400 divided by 2. Again, I know I've discussed this with you so many times, but I'll just make sure you've got it. The equal sign acts as the middle point of a set of scales, which means that the one side of the calculation should match the other. Normally, it's very straightforward. 2 add 2 is the same as 4. So 4 weighs the same or has the same value as 2 add to 2. So what it's saying is 214 subtract that box needs to be the same as 400 divided by 2. Well, let's get rid of this because 400 divided by 2 is 200. So 214 subtract something must equal 200. Well, that makes it fairly obvious. It's 14 in the box. What is the value of 9 in 6, 8, 1, 9, 2, 7? Again, I talked to you the other day about using that comma to put down your working time in a question. This is obviously the hundreds column. Okay, you've got units, tens, hundreds. So it's in the hundreds. 9 in the hundreds means it's got a value of 900. Or you can write it out in words. So it could be 900. Either or. Clearing. Keep giving us the same question styles now. That's not a problem. 75.38 to 1 decimal place. The fact that it keeps repeating these question styles might be getting a little bit annoying for you, but it does change them up every once in a while. But if you can get these sorts of questions locked away and you can do them like that, it's really useful because you're doing simple stuff. You're doing multiplication and division by factors of 10. You always get given a question like this. You can add and subtract fractions. You can convert fractions to decimals and percentages. You can... they always give you one of those. You can round, and you can round. They're bread and butter skills in your maths. Really, really worth making sure that you're confident with by practicing just a little every day. 75.38 to 1 decimal place. That's the 1 decimal place. You move one place further your column to the right, or you look one place further your column to the right. It's an 8, so it will round up, which means it's 75.4. And again, you've probably heard me say that 100 times by now, but if they give it you in a test, and it's worth a mark, and you get it right, you've got yourself a mark, haven't you? That you might not have got if you hadn't practiced it 100 times and bored yourself stiff with it. Continue the sequence with 5 more terms. Okay, so you start with minus 75, then it's minus 50, then it's minus 25, and then they don't tell me. Okay, really simple sequence there. They're adding 25 to each. This is the dead easy giveaway. You've got to jump a 25 there. Just check it's the same there, which it is. So they're adding 25, which means that the next one, I'll do them down here, the next 5 terms, the next one will be 0, then it'll be 25, 50, 75, and 100. I think that's 5. 1, 2, 4. It is 5. Okay. So it's just going up in 25, starting at 0. Last one, 45.379 to 2 decimal places. Finally, something slightly more interesting. So, 1 decimal place is obviously your tenths. 2 decimal places would be your hundredths. So it wants this to be the final place value column with any value in it. Okay, so you're going to apply the same principle. It's this one they're bothered about. So you look one place value column to the right. It's a 9, so it gets rounded up because 9 thousandths is closer to 8 hundredths. Or 7 hundredths and 9 thousandths is closer to 8 hundredths than it is to 7 hundredths. Okay, so because this is 9, this 7 hundredths gets rounded up to 8. So you've got 45.38 done. I hope that made some sense to you, because I think I lost what I meant halfway through there. 75.38. Okay. Now, today, instead of me doing a challenge question with you, I've been pinching the challenge questions. I'm sure you've worked it out by now. I've been pinching them from LBQ. Now, some of you have commented saying that you found the White Rose maths sometimes a little bit easy, sometimes a little bit hard, but I hear what you're saying. So what I've done for today, I've still set the White Rose Hub? Yeah, White Rose Hub maths, but I've also set LBQ maths alongside it. So if you have a look at the White Rose Hub maths and you think, oh, actually, today's is really easy, then there'll be an LBQ activity based on the same topic. Okay, so today for you is multiplication, unless I'm mistaken. It's multiplication or division. So you'll look at it, and if you think, I can do that, then go over to LBQ, and there's some more challenging questions on there for you to have a go at. Okay, if you find that the ones I've set are still a little bit too easy, then have a wander around the site and find something for you to do yourself. Okay, but instead of me just putting one question on here for us to do, I'd put it on here and then you might have to go and do it again anyway. So it saves doubling up. So I've set them on LBQ. Go over and have a go at them yourself if you want to. If you find today's White Rose too easy, if you find it quite challenging as well and you think I'd like more of a practice at that, then use LBQ as well. Okay, it's always worth seeing questions presented in different ways. It's no use just learning how to answer the White Rose Hub style questions, because that's not the kind of questions that you'll be given for the rest of your maths life. So it's definitely worth having a go at other question styles as well. Okay, so starting obviously today, from now on, you're not going to have a challenge question anymore. The challenging questions are at the end of the LBQ questions. Final thing before I go, just bear in mind if you do LBQ, the questions start really easy, really, really straightforward, and you don't have to do all of them. So it's definitely worth skipping in. Normally there's about 30 questions. From question 20, it starts getting challenging. From question 25 onwards, they're really tricky. That's definitely worth your time. If you're thinking, I can do this really, really easily, then go and have a go at the last 10 questions on LBQ. Don't do the first 10. If you can whiz through them, it is a waste of your time. Go and find the challenge. Okay? Right. That's me done. I'll stop waffling on about maths now. I'll see you tomorrow.